So, um, a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, whenever I was still talking to Hythloday, somebody had said, "Hey, you gonna let Gary stay at your place um, for a week or something?" Whatever he said like that, and I didn't know what they were talking about. Hythloday, was talking to both of us at one time in his videos, and I haven't been watching Gary for like 8 months or a year. I don't know, somewhere in that range. And when I had unsubbed from him, I made a video about it, and at the time I said, I thought it's unfortunate, but so somebody said that, and I didn't think any more of it because it's just like, okay, someone's bringing up Gary, but they do that all the time, going to people, other YouTubers. Um, so, but I knew a couple years ago his place went up for sale, but then that sort of seemed to settle out, and it didn't necessarily sell, or Gary was trying to buy it himself and things like this, but it had just gone away. Hadn't heard any more about it. And but then maybe and then I forgot all about it again. But maybe that was on my mind yesterday, or maybe the day before yesterday. I don't know. I've been working pretty busy. But could have been the day before yesterday. I figured I'd check out him Mendham channel, see if there was anything there. And so I played this video, and one of the things he's going into was that maybe this probably be his last video, maybe one more outside video or something. Before he left, and he was selling his stuff, and yeah, not a contractor, developers bought the place, just kicked everybody out. So that sucks. I've had to move out. I mean, I've had to move so many times in my life. Uh, I don't think ever evicted because of that kind of reasons. I've had friends that were kicked out to do renovations with the intention of renting it for more and get around rent control and things like that. But still, I've had to move dozens of times. Definitely a dozen. It's probably, well over a dozen. Um, but then again, that's me, and that's a different situation. I think relative to Gary's situation, having stayed put in that place for so long, it's just ridiculous. He seemed pretty calm and reserved, which, I guess ironically to some is what I would expect from Gary, being able to take something like that. I mean, he really gets torn out of. His collar really gets hot in the little minutia of things. Uh, but that doesn't mean he can't deal with something like this resolutely. But I mean, it doesn't mean he would be able to either. But um, he's being brave about it. Now, first of all, you should know I'm just totally pro renters' rights, and I pretty much support squatters, though that's a case by case thing. And but like the squatters of dangerous abandoned buildings and stuff, and putting them to use, hell yeah. And I just think, if people are even allowed to take rent, to be a middleman between you and the place you live, which is protected by, you know, your your national armed forces that you pay for yourself with your tax dollars. And if somebody can even get in the middle there, then it has to be highly regulated. I mean, I know people raising they were in kind of a ghetto-y place. They fixed it up. Not that it would look fancy to people, but I mean, they patched holes in the walls, and this is in the city. And they cleaned up, we cleaned up their backyard, and there was needles and junk and condoms and shit, and they turned that all, got the dirt exposed, made a big greenhouse back there. And they were there about 10 years raising, um, uh, my friend's grandson, or no, grandnephew, uh, whose mother was just, not fit or whatever. So they'd taken in this kid and they were raising him, and then they just suddenly have to move out because the landlord wants to fix it up. And there's rent control in Berkeley, but you know, there's ways around it. Like if you're going to fix it up, you just got to do enough work to kick them out for 3 months. They have a right to try to come back, but you have a certain right to raise the rent. Maybe they won't come back and things like this. So that kind of bullshit is bullshit. I mean, you're living in a place 10 years, and even if you want to go, oh, hey, you can just move to somebody else's. And as a renter, I always realized it was my, owner's house. And you wouldn't want to stay once you were asked to go. You know you're doing that, but it's an inappropriate kind of a situation. They're raising a kid and they just suddenly have to move, and there's not necessarily somewhere else for them to move right then. Like if you had to give 5 years notice or various things, but I mean, basically, I think that whole fucking shit should change around. Some fucking guy wants to come and take away a place that, 10 people can live and make it so just one rich person can live there, which ultimately isn't even making more housing, it's destroying housing and just making housing more expensive. And that's, we're supposed to put the full force of our law behind that kind of thing. And then someone like Gary, who got himself set up, um, in a place he can handle, just has to be ripped out at a random time. It's fucking bullshit. But so I'm a little worried about Gary on the one hand. On the other hand, it's, none of my business. Um, uh, but yeah, I'm concerned. And one of the reasons I decided I'd make this video, I don't really know what to say. I can't play concern troll or whatever. I know Gary's not, doesn't appear to be super fond of me, but it came as a little bit of shock. I thought that maybe that had slipped by and wasn't going to happen or anytime soon. And I don't know. So if anybody knows what's going on, where he went, is he getting back online and stuff like that? I'm definitely curious. Not that I could justify why I should be or whatever, but on the other hand, why should I have to? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious why. So yeah, if anybody has any information, leave it below.